That was the thing, part of the headline, where it's like, all the executives say there's just not enough space for another casino.
Shocking.
Made me enraged.
Business hates direct competition. News at 11.
Also, your high schoolers are having sex. Howdy, it's Thursday, January 30th, 2020, and this is episode 118 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Laskin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
So it's good to do 4 episodes in January.
Indeed.
Think about that. We're on pace for 48 episodes this year.
And we will almost certainly hit that, given the professionals that we are.
I would think if we're not at episode 160 by the end of the year, it would be very disappointing.
I have a crystal ball and I can see into the future. And it's going to be disappointment.
Oh. Well then.
So, thanks to you being, a do-gooder who has way too much time at work and put in the last 60 episodes or whatever that we've missed from our episode spreadsheet, I will tell you right now, there was one other time in our history we had a 4-episode month. Do you know when it was?
The 3rd month of the podcast.
Not only are you wrong, you're actually quite significantly wrong. June of 2017.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Any reason? Can you tell just from the...
Yes, we had 2 news episodes and a trip. So we had a pre-trip and post-trip.
Interesting. What about 2018? What happened in 2018? Very recent.
I could tell you what happened on the podcast in front. In March and April of 2018, we only had 1 podcast in both of those months. And we had 2 podcasts in May and then 1 podcast in June.
Yeah, I think there was actually a point where we went more than a month between episodes.
Indeed.
The
April
longest
13th,
time.
2018 to May 15th, 2018. 32 days.
Terrible. We still managed to get in 26 episodes that year, I think.
Yeah.
Shocking.
And also shocking, the year that you have a child, it affected our schedule a lot more than the year I had a child.
Why would that be?
Who could have seen that coming?
Yes, very strange.
Yeah.
Although I had my child second, so you also had a very young child at the time.
I did. And also am much lazier than you. So there's that. I did 1 episode of Due for a Win. So I feel like I've pulled my slack.
1 out of 118.
That's right.
So what happened in 2018?
Starting off early in the year, on January 4th, 2018, the Revel sale to Bruce Dyfik was finalized. So, yeah, that went well, right?
I mean,
it's turning around now, but the early days weren't good. That's for sure, of Ocean.
Yeah, so that was, late in 2017, we heard about the filings that someone had purchased Revel, and Glenn Straub was like, nah, that didn't happen. And it was kind of surprising when it came out, I think, a little bit. Even though we had that information, it was a little surprising that it came out that it was just like finalized and done. It wasn't like there was a bunch of lead up, really, that I remember. So then a few months later, the big statewide story was that legalized sports betting in New Jersey started on June 14th. At 10 a.m. at Monmouth Park Racetrack. Borgata followed 1 hour later as the first Atlantic City casino to offer sports bets. And we have been betting on sports non-stop since.
Indeed. Well, you at least could, because you live in the state, so...
I have many apps.
Indeed.
That I've done the deposit bonus on. But I've been very good about not just, looking for a reason to bet, and only betting when I actually think there's a good chance. And I started out very well, and then I've been basically 50-50 since then. So it's almost like they're very good at setting the lines.
Would you say that you're looking for a reason to give up?
I would say that. I haven't placed many sports bets in a while. I placed a random Australian Open bet that lost, and I think that was the only bet I'd placed in, I don't know, since regular season football, which is only a few weeks, but anyways.
So I was at the gym this morning, and they've got SportsCenter on all the time, and the woman's like, and we have some results from the Australian Open, and you'll never believe what happened. And it was about Djokovic Federer, and I was like, all right, I'm interested now, because I really didn't know what happened. And then it's like, Djokovic won in straight sets. And I was like, oh, I can actually believe that.
Yeah. Federer's very old.
Ancient. even older than the hosts of Do For When.
Yeah, it is a little weird that, like, oh, these athletes are so old. Like Ovechkin, ooh, he's really getting up there. 2 years younger than us.
Yeah.
Granted, he looks like he's a 45-year-old man, but...
Right. Also, we're old.
That is a good point. We would be over the hill in any athletic endeavor.
But it's like every time I listen to anything on the TV there, because it's usually like not SportsCenter, it's usually like whatever, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, and it's just like the worst takes I've ever heard in my life that are obviously just like them saying wild things for ratings.
Yeah. I don't watch any of that garbage.
So disappointing too, because Max Kellerman is legitimately an excellent broadcaster, but he is surely making a lot more money doing whatever nonsense it is he does now than being an excellent like boxing commentator.
It's true. That is the current sports model of just two people hot-taking at each other.
Yes. Seeing who could say the more outrageous thing.
Moving forward in 2018, we don't have anything outrageous to say about Hard Rock and Ocean, both opening on June 27th at the same time.
Yeah.
Grand openings the next day, June 28th. We were there for the grand openings.
We were there. That's right.
Very bitter that they opened a day early before we made it there.
Also, my mom was there, too.
That's true. But did you even see her?
I didn't know she was there until I got home.
Perfect.
It's almost like exactly what you would probably expect of me and my mother, knowing nothing more than my mother is directly related to me.
Yeah. Like, even if you had known that each other were there, like, you wouldn't have actually like gambled together, gotten a meal or anything. So good. Later in the year, Eldorado Resorts purchased Tropicana from Carl Icahn. I feel like I sort of forget about Eldorado owning Tropicana because, of course, all the big news is about Eldorado and their still in process purchase of Caesars Entertainment.
Indeed. They came in promising to slice comps to the bone, yeah. And yet I haven't been to Tropicana or really gambled there in quite a long time and still can get any comp I want in the world. So
kind of amazing how forward they were with that information. But yeah, I mean, I guess when you're starting out at a point of just severe generosity, maybe you wouldn't have noticed the cuts. Maybe if I was a regular player there, I would not be seeing rooms anymore. We don't know. Is that it for 2018?
I think that was it, other than our lack of podcasting. The true big story of 2018.
Yes. 1918. I did some digging. I had to go into the JSTOR, the database.
Is that like JDate?
No, we discussed this. It's like EBSCO host and LexisNexis. So from the Journal of Education, which they were going to ask me to pay like $75 for this article, but since I work at a college, I had direct access. That's what I do for the podcast. That's the only reason I have my job, is so that I can pull these articles up for the podcast.
And also just do the podcast at your job.
Yes. From volume 87, issue number 4 of the Journal of Education, dated January 24th, 1918, an article called The Lure of Atlantic City. Rather than trying to explain the article, I'll just go right into it, which probably violates the terms of JSTOR.
You're going to probably get fired. And not for just editing the podcast all day tomorrow.
That would not get me fired. Violating the terms of our library agreement with JSTOR, maybe. On to Atlantic City is the slogan of the 3,000 or more superintendents whose duty and desire draw them to the great annual convocation of the National Education Association's influential Department of Superintendents, held each year the week of February 25th. Atlantic City gives them special welcome. Atlantic City is accustomed to extending the hand of greeting. An average of 160 conventions meet there annually, and the spirit of hospitality is always aflame. Any thoughts so far?
You're doing great. Keep going.
I think that's everything. That's the main crux of the article, both the lead and the nut graph for you journalism people. So there's some stuff about how Atlantic City was basically a swamp a few decades before this, because, it's 1918. And then they give a very abridged history and say, once stuff started going, nothing could stop the inflow of people and wealth. In the past 20 years, millions have been invested. A solidly built, substantial city has sprung up as if by magic upon the reed-grown sandy marshes of Absecon. The inhabitants are nearly 55,000, and the yearly visitors aggregate a great army of 10 million people. August alone enrolls 300,000 on the great beautiful bathing beaches, which are seldom deserted, even in winter, because of the equable climate of South Jersey.
Yes, indeed. It's very beautiful in January on the beach in South Jersey. Let me tell you.
If I could use anything to describe South Jersey, really the mid-Atlantic region as a whole.
The equable climate. I've never even heard of that word in my life, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm saying it right. I don't even know how else you would possibly say it. But when I think equable, I think, high 80s and like 90% humidity in the summer and 30 degrees and snowing in the winter.
When I think of equable, I think that someone doesn't know how to spell equitable or something.
I think it's a word. It was a word in 1918, Kyle.
And indeed.
So it goes on to paint a picture of what it was like to go to Atlantic City for these rubes. It didn't use the word rubes. They should have used the word rubes.
Speaking of which, I still haven't seen Rubes Easter in Atlantic City on YouTube, and I'm very disappointed in all of you. But go ahead.
So for the rubes who have not been to Atlantic City and might like to take in the Council of Superintendents or whatever the hell this thing is called, as the train rolls over its solid roadbed, needs a solid roadbed. You don't want
your train just falling into like a swamp.
Traversing 5 miles of water-soaked marshes and over the bay from the mainland, Atlantic City's turreted buildings seen across the sunlit levels seem like a fairy city of the sea. Chief among these are the royal palaces, the majestic hotels, 1,000 hotels altogether, valued at $50 million. That's it. That's all I got.
They're coming to arrest you for not doing a good enough job.
Yeah, I actually hear the sirens outside right now. $50 million, Kyle. $50 million wouldn't even renovate like 3 floors of Bally's. That's not true, but...
That's a really weird way to say that last sentence. It feels like it's missing something. Chief among them are the royal palaces, comma, the majestic hotels.
Yes, so that was odd. I expected that to be like a list, and it wasn't.
Yes, like the royal palaces, the majestic hotels, and the windswept beach.
But like the royal palaces are the majestic hotels. Like there are no palaces.
Yes. Indeed.
There should be palaces.
There should be. Maybe there was in 1918.
It's possible.
I like that this journal, though, sounds exactly like every other article we've read from the time period.
So it's basically in this like national journal talking up Atlantic City and New Jersey as the greatest thing ever.
The only thing it's missing is, the report when he was talking to the very handsome lady Violet from Philadelphia.
I really wish that was in the National Journal of Education or whatever this is, but really, I think the biggest takeaway here is that I couldn't find anything else for 1918. And I really like reading old copy.
I know. It is good. I have one word for you before we get to that. Mini boats wrecked.
Many boats wrecked, indeed.
The ultimate one-word sentence in copy.
Hey, it tells you everything you need to know. Unlike the headline about wealthy patron escapes his nurse or whatever, which tells you nothing that you need to know and only leaves you with questions.
All right, what are we doing in March, man?
So my brother called Ocean, because he has Friday comps at Ocean, and they told him he can get the 13th comped. If he wants the 6th, it'll be over $200.
What's on the 6th?
Yeah, I don't understand. But I will say, when I went to Caesars and Bally's said options on the 6th, which is odd. But then, like, Resorts was cheaper on the 6th than the 13th. So I don't know what's going on.
Weird.
Very strange, but it seems like the 13th is... Should we just say that that's what we're doing?
Let's plan on that. I will get final confirmation soon, but initial signs seemed promising.
Would you try to go Thursday to Saturday?
The idea was floated and wasn't immediately shot down, so it seems like it's a possibility. That would be the goal, though. I mean, I would probably leave early Saturday morning. Yeah,
the latest I heard from Dave is that they would leave at like 8 or 9 a.m. on Saturday, so quite
that
early.
Would probably be what I would do, too. Maybe I would just ride with him, I guess.
Please, you would be driving.
Yeah, that's true. I would be driving them. You are 100% correct. So when are they coming? Would they be Thursday morning or night? Because I would probably do morning.
Oh, no, I think they were talking about after they get the kids to bed on Thursday.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm doing. Looks like I am driving myself.
Nice. You're going for the full 2-day experience.
Yeah, I assume so.
I would almost certainly just do my typical get there noon on Friday, leave like midday on Saturday.
Would you stay until Sunday? I think you could do it.
I mean, I don't have any comps, and I don't think that would go over real well.
If the comps are what's holding you back, I will hook you up.
You'll hook me
I
up
will
with
find you the finest room in all of the West Tower.
Not even the Chelsea Tower, the West Tower. You'll get offered the Chelsea Tower and you'll be like, no. West Tower only, please.
Please book the room that has most recently had meth brewed in the bathroom, please.
Oh, that was also 2018, by the way. I didn't put that in the 2018 look back.
Yes,
but the
when
meth explosion.
the room exploded in Tropicana West Tower.
Yeah. Yes, that was in 2018.
Because they were cooking the meth.
I didn't feel it was necessary to include it, but I also didn't realize that it was going to come up. So
yeah,
we got it in anyway. Should we be booking hotels? Where do you want to stay? Obviously, the West Tower, the meth room.
Presumably, I would get final confirmation first before booking hotels, and also wait until the week of, just, because.
So you don't need to get final confirmation before booking hotels because they are cancelable. I don't know how many times we have to say this. That's why Paul already has a room booked at Ocean.
I don't know if you know this about me. I don't really love talking to people. And so the idea of me having to talk to people twice instead of once sounds terrible. Well, it's actually, if I don't go, it would be twice instead of 0.
Big news on that front. Someone in the Everything AC Casinos Facebook group reported that you can now book your comp offers through Resort's website if you log into the player's login.
My God.
So I cannot. I went in to try to do it. I was like, sweet, I'm going to do this. I went to try to do it. My offers are not through the booklet. So when I go online, it says that you have no offers because my offers are like a welcome back thing. But you might actually be able to attempt to book a room online.
Because we had so much positive feedback about me typing for 5 minutes last episode.
I cut all of that out. So I really appreciate that you're going to just do it again and make me edit all this again.
Let's be honest. There's already going to be plenty of work for you this episode, so... Promos and offers.
Why are we doing this? This is torture for everyone.
Book online now.
Oh my God.
Take me there, please.
This is a huge development. I mean, it may sound like we're being sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic in the least. So going back to the room thing. Paul can get Ocean. I can get Ocean. You can get Ocean, right?
Yeah, I get
Dave can get Ocean. Dave gets like $50 in free play every day, like $25 food credit.
I get like $100 in free play every day.
Oh, look at a baller over here. I still kind of want to book at resorts.
Oh my God. Book a comp room Sunday through Thursday, and we will waive the resort fee.
Really?
That's actually like pretty tempting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's at resorts. They'll waive the resort fee.
Only Sunday through Thursday.
But
I have seven night a week's comps, although you're seeing the calendar, so it's obviously not really 7 nights a week. But
so are you going to book at resorts?
It's definitely a possibility. This is a game changer, though, right?
So how many times more likely are you to book at resorts than you were 15 minutes ago when you didn't know this information? 100? More?
I mean, that would imply that I had at most a 1% chance of booking at resorts, which is definitely not true. But it is a significant upgrade. It's a large percentage increase. I'm frankly appalled that you did not tell me this before right now.
Because you're never on the Google anymore during the day. I have no one to talk to now.
Dave's always there for you, man.
Yeah, that's true.
And Andy.
And Paul.
Enjoy $30 dining dollars. It's great.
So 2 rooms at resorts between you and me. I think we can fit all 5 people in those 2 rooms. We don't need any ocean rooms.
Oh, man. That is a game changer, though. Like, I need some time to process this piece of news, but...
So we're obviously not going to decide on any hotel tonight, but...
No,
because that's not the way we operate.
I mean, that's the way you operate, but not me.
But say we were in a situation where Dave, me, and Paul all booked at Ocean. You would still book at resorts, wouldn't you?
I mean, it's like a 3-minute walk away. I don't know why it matters.
It's more than that.
I don't understand the obsession with everyone must stay in the same place.
I know that you don't understand the obsession with that. I am aware that that is your opinion on that.
But it's not far.
It's farther than you're making it seem, because you're forgetting about Showboat.
I'll still see you whenever I want to see you, so...
That is the perfect summation of any trip involving Kyle.
I mean, you can see me whenever you want to see me, too, as long as you also want to be in the tiles pit or whatever.
As long as I want to be happen to want to be in the place that you want to be in.
Right.
So, should we be trying to do a meetup? Or is that dumb since we're already going to have a group of 5 people?
No, it's fine. It seems like an appropriate time to do it.
Some sort of Friday evening thing?
It doesn't have to be a meetup, but if the people want to hang out, I think we should be more than amenable to that.
Yes. So I think Friday night is probably when we'll all be around, and other people who are coming into town will also be around. So planned for Friday the 13th. If you want to meet us, if you want us to sign your Due for a Win shirt, you know, I don't know what other celebrity type things people would want from us.
I don't think we should be giving out our signatures. That's for Patreons only.
Yes, record a ringtone for you where Kyle says howdy. Voicemail ringtone. Who uses ringtones anymore?
We only sign our glamour shots that are available on sale.
Anyways, I think we'll have more trip planning next episode, but I think we're looking more and more likely for March 13th weekend.
Sounds plausible.
That seemed better for most people.
Yes.
And also for the comps.
Ocean, right. Although I don't know why people care when we have resorts available online now.
Right. Well, Taylor said he could not do 2 nights the previous weekend, and he can do 2 nights that weekend. And that's a big game changer, too.
Should be fine. Should be fine.
Speaking of should be fine, I got nothing. Fish is performing 3 nights in a row on the beach in Atlantic City, August 14th to 16th. So that's the weekend back-to-back-to-back concerts that were talked about when this CRDA Live Nation extension happened. I know you to be a big fan of jam bands.
Mm-hmm.
Fish, is that your favorite of all time? Or are you more of a Grateful Dead, Dave Matthews band?
I do have to agree with the, I forget his name now, but the guy who runs resorts.
Yeah,
that
Mark Giantonio.
Wouldn't this just be better if it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah, especially like Fish is a massive draw.
Or like, let's say like you want some weekends, so like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yes, because people who like Fish and like these type of concerts.
Right.
Stoners mostly, I believe. I don't think they would even be offended by me saying that. Those people are going to come to this regardless. They only have 2 northeastern cities booked, and Atlantic City is one of them. Not only that,
it seems like to me, and like, believe me, I'm far from the biggest music fan in the world, but Fish is like the perfect band if you want to sell tickets to like all 3 shows to their fans, because they seem like the sort of fans that would go to all of the shows.
That's possible. Like Buffett style.
Yes.
That's a good point. If we have any Fish fans out there, which I think we have a few, let us know if you would buy tickets to all 3 of these shows. What if you're a Fish fan and you're a huge Gambling in Atlantic City fan? How do you tear yourself away from the tables to go to this concert? It's priorities. You got to figure out what your priorities are. Anyways, you can request tickets now on the website. They start at $79. That's the information you need to know. What other news is there?
Robert's Steakhouse and Scores are both out at Hard Rock.
Devastating.
I know. So Scores' last night was Saturday, January 25th, so last Saturday. And Robert's last day is this upcoming Saturday, the 1st of February.
I've never been to either of these places.
Indeed.
Robert's, very mixed reviews. Some people very high on it. Some people thought the food was not good and the service was not good. Almost like it's a restaurant and people have different opinions. Scores, Vinny Chen's from 7 Out was a big fan of Scores. I know he's disappointed about this news. His description of the Scores, you know, made it sound more like a sort of a loungy experience where you just go hang out and less of like an in-your-face strip club, which is more interesting, but I'll never find out because it is gone. Basically, though, these were contentious from the beginning of Hard Rock. They were there at the Taj Mahal. There was a dispute over whether they could continue their lease. Hard Rock said that they failed to extend their lease when they had the chance. It went to court. It eventually, I think, Hard Rock's suit got thrown out, so they got to continue. And now either, I don't know if the leases are up and they're not being renewed, or if Hard Rock finally bought them out or whatever, but Hard Rock is, I'm sure, more than eager to be putting their own concepts in these spaces. And
probably taking the strip club out of Hard Rock.
Yes, they did not want a strip club in the first place. I'm assuming that will not be a strip club.
They made that very clear.
So the Scores space, you know, with the outdoor space, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that, because it's that outdoor space above the stairs. You know, there, you can see the stairs up to a couple levels at the Hard Rock, and that was basically like sort of an outdoor patio of Scores. And so it'd be cool to see them use that for something that's not a gentleman's club.
It's actually interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah.
It just makes me kind of think, like, what if Atlantic City really embraced, like, the World's Playground thing, and it was really just, like, dancers up there all the time in the summer?
It'd be great.
I don't think it would be bad.
It would not be bad, I would say. Although the dancers, I mean, that would be very uncomfortable, I think, for the dancers.
Yeah, fair.
Because of the not-so-equable climate.
Yes.
So then Robert's Steakhouse, which will be gone, potentially opens up the door for Council Oak Fish to just become a regular Council Oak restaurant, because other Hard Rock hotels, I believe, just have Council Oak as a restaurant that is also a steakhouse, whereas the one at Hard Rock is Council Oak Fish.
Indeed.
So we'll see if that is the direction that goes.
You sent me the photo to the Council Oak in Hollywood, Florida. You
Yes.
did not seem impressed.
I believe my comment was, is there anywhere that you would less rather be?
Nero's Las Vegas.
Just like a very stuffy-looking generic steakhouse. But
Nero's Las Vegas.
yeah, long gone. R.I.P.
No RIP.
You have much regret about that meal, I think.
That was probably the worst meal of my life.
I feel like you don't get mad often. Maybe that's misjudging you. Maybe you just hide it.
No, I think that's pretty fair.
But just bringing up that meal, I think, enrages you. And, I mean, on a Kyle scale, so it's not, like, loudly enraged, but it's just like, oh, this is ridiculous.
If everything was exactly the same, except the meal was 1/3 the length, like, it would have been fine. It would have, like, I would have talked about it again. It would just be, like, a thing that happened. It would have been acceptable. Like, it would have been unmemorable in every way. But the fact that it's, like, it was overpriced, it wasn't even that great, and it took 3 hours to eat dinner, and we weren't, like, sitting there chatting. That's just, like, how long it took for, like, the food to come out and everything.
It's supposed to be a culinary experience, Kyle.
No, it was like we ordered mains, and then 2 hours later it came out.
Boy. Yes, it did take an extremely long time. I will agree with you 100%. Other things changing hands. The playground pier has been sold back to Caesars. So Bart Blatstein, who bought it from Caesars, actually didn't buy it from Caesars. I think he bought it from the bank because it was taken over by the bank from its previous owner or previous whatever mortgage holder.
Mm-hmm.
Promised to do all this stuff. T Street, we've talked about. Sportsbook, I think. Big beer garden. Event space. Much of that stuff did not happen. Nightclub. Some of the stuff did happen and lasted a week. Has decided finally that only having 5 stores and 5 restaurants in the place is not good enough, and he has sold it back to Caesars to focus on his gambling operations at the Showboat.
Indeed.
This was completely out of nowhere.
Sounds a lot like when someone, like, quits from somewhere to spend more time with their family.
And then, like, 4 days later, takes a job somewhere else.
Yes.
That's my favorite. Yeah. Yeah, I don't buy necessarily that this is going to hasten gambling at the Showboat. I do wonder more if he has just finally decided he had enough of Playground and felt like he couldn't do whatever he needed to do for the cost that he was willing to put into it. So who knows what Caesars is going to do with it? Because it was not like it was... I mean, the talk about it was that it was already struggling. I mean, obviously, the bank took it over, and that's how Blatstein got it. And that was contentious to begin with. Like, at one point, Caesars had sued Blatstein, saying he was, like, an illegal tenant and that he owed them for the previous mortgage holders' debts, and that, like, Blatstein was illegally collecting rent from these people and all this stuff. They eventually settled, and Blatstein did take over, but it didn't seem like Caesars was ever particularly excited about the arrangement. But I also don't know what Caesars is going to do with it now. And, you know, I don't know. Do you think it's just something where they would rather have control over it than have this guy who's not doing anything with it have control over it?
Even that, it's probably just that they got a good price on it and thought it made sense. I mean, usually I don't think these kinds of companies make decisions because of they don't want someone else to own it really a whole lot. It's just, it has to make sense for them. But the thing that really surprised me in looking into, like, the reaction to this is on our Facebook group, a lot of people are, like, very optimistic about what this means. They're like, the playground's going to be back, it's going to be, like, bustling, and I just don't know why exactly people think that.
Yeah, I sort of, maybe this is pessimistic, but I sort of lean more toward, like, Are they just going to shut it down for now? Like, and just say, this is nothing, right? Like, there's no tenants here. Let's just hold on to this until we either sell it to someone else or figure out what else to do with it. But
good night, sweet Continental.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really disappointing if Continental, Suzai, Budokan, I mean, Phillips, not so much, but if we lost those, there's a Wet Willie's in there. We can't lose It's Sugar. I mean, we can't lose It's Sugar. I'm serious.
Oh, It's Sugar. That can stay open because it's actually on the boardwalk as well.
It's Sugar will be like the Rainforest Cafe of the playground pier. You cannot get rid of it.
Man, you know what I want right now? Wasabi mashed potatoes.
Oh, those are very good from the Continental.
They're excellent.
Gambling on the pier out over the ocean.
Yeah, people were throwing that out. That'd be cool. I mean, I think... Yeah, I mean, it's part of Caesars. I don't know. I don't really know the rules.
Yeah, I mean, so last time it was whatever pier shops at Caesars. They had a fountain show. Gone. They had much more stores. There were more restaurants. Mm-hmm. Can they bring back the Trinity Irish?
I doubt it. I think that closed down long before they sold it. So
yeah, it did. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. I mean, maybe just nothing will happen with it for a long time. But even my pessimistic option of it closes is still somehow better than it just being open and like 98% empty.
I don't think it makes sense to close, really, because the restaurants, I think, are reasonably successful.
You could just have It's Sugar in the restaurants. I mean, they're almost at that point now.
Every time I've been to Continental or Budokan, they've both been, like, reasonably crowded.
Yeah.
So
Suzai seems like it does business.
It does. Suzai does okay. I mean, Suzai's also only okay, I think. It's just, like, the ambiance and, like, it's like the ultimate, like, yeah, I'm in Atlantic City.
That's why I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, any other thoughts on this thing?
Somebody speculated that perhaps as part of the price, like maybe it was sold back to Caesars for dirt cheap, and in return, he got Caesars to tear up the restriction on Showboat.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was like a fun piece of speculation, but...
That is more interesting.
It is. It is interesting.
Get creative with the deals. I'd be surprised, but who knows?
I would too. I thought it was exciting. I enjoyed reading that.
That's a good connection. The El Dorado thing obviously throws a big wrench into this, right? So that was the thing that surprised me the most, is that Caesars is buying this back with the specter of El Dorado, the El Dorado takeover looming. So, like, who knows what El Dorado thinks about this whole thing? So it would have been nice to hear, like, some plans.
But here's the thing, though, right? So one of the big success stories, certainly not this year, but in the past, has been Tropicana, right? And, like, what drove a lot of that? Like, probably the quarter, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So... I mean, there's certainly, stuff that can be done with the pier, I think. I think it doesn't have to be a failure.
Yeah, I would love that to be more of a fully realized... I mean, it used to be. Like, it used to be a very nice shopping pier. So it would be nice if they could figure something out like that. And who knows, maybe El Dorado are exactly the people to do that. Should we talk data?
It's time.
I think we actually don't have time, and we should save it.
It actually is a little late. We could save it.
No, let's not save it. I'm kidding.
So if you want to reach out to us...
I hate you. We'll just record again tomorrow night, because there's been no issues with recording this week.
The first 5 episode month in history.
Yeah. Anyways.
All right, dive into it.
It's almost February, but we're going to look back at December. But I think what we mainly want to look at is Q4 of 2019 and the entire year of 2019 and what that tells us about the state of Atlantic City now with some full year data. Quickly, some notable information about the monthly data for December. Ocean had $11.9 million in December of 2018. They had $20.9 million in December of 2019, a 75% increase. So that's a very nice increase for them. Hard Rock was up 9.5% year over year. They had $25.9 million in December of 2019. Bally's and Resorts were both in the $12 million range, down significantly from December 2018. So any thoughts on the monthly data, or should we really just focus on the yearly and quarterly stuff?
I mean, obviously, Resorts, another $12 million month, like, never good. Bally's, it's not the best ever, but we're still in double digits, so it's got that going for it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do think 20.9 for Ocean is moving from the... like, oh, it's good for Ocean to, like, it's getting towards actually good. Like a winter month to get 20.9. And if they can keep that up January, February, I think they're going to feel pretty good about turning stuff around and maybe be putting up some interesting numbers as it gets into spring and summer. So
I have to say, we just had a Due for a Win super fan, Justin W. redid the spreadsheet for us, and I have to say it's actually very distracting to look at the spreadsheet now because I'm used to a specific order in my mind, which I never would have thought I was until I'm looking at this, and it's just like things seem slightly out of place. You're
used to like the QWERTY keyboard,
right?
That, you know, was created so that people would not jam their typewriter, right? So that they would type slower. I don't know if that's actually true. Yes, listener Justin W. put in hours of effort to get this thing in the right order, which is alphabetical, which means that you can actually copy and paste very quickly from the New Jersey Department of Gaming Enforcement datasheet, which is very nice, except, you know, if you're used to always seeing Borgata at the top.
I know, it was really confusing.
Well, you'll get used to it in a month or two.
Probably not. Also, props to him for putting in 2020, always the big effort of the year, every year, putting it in the new year. So
yeah, and having to circle the data back. But
yeah,
so thanks to him for that.
Do we want to talk about Q4 in individual, or should we just jump to the whole year?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit of Q4, because, you know, the whole year stuff, Ocean and Hard Rock not really involved in that because they were only open for 6 months. So,
right.
You know, you can't look at year over year, but Q4, Ocean was up 60.3% over Q4 of 2018, which is just a massive, massive increase. Hard Rock up 8%.
It must be said that Ocean's Q4 last year was $36 million.
Yeah, horrible.
The lowest since probably, you know, casinos closing time, really. I mean, that's just a putrid quarter.
Like, that Q4 is only acceptable. It's just that it's 60% better than the absolute shit that it was in 2018.
13 million, 11 million, 11 million.
It was bad. We had a bet about dipping under 10 million, and I'm happy to say I had would not dip under 10 million, and they didn't.
But only just.
Yes. So Hard Rock was up 8%. Caesars up 6.7% Q4. Harrah's 3.5%. Borg, basically even. And then there was some reasonable declines. Nugget minus 6.3%, Bally's minus 8.2%, Trop almost 10%, Resorts down 13.6%.
Yeah, not a good quarter for Due for a Win favorite Resorts websites.
Yeah, so that's pretty rough for Resorts. The weird thing is Resorts' entire year was only down 3.9%, despite that horrible 13.6% decline in Q4. So
well, certainly Q2 and 3 are the important quarters.
Right.
If you're going to have a bad quarter, you'd much rather be Q1 or 4 than 2 or 3.
Yeah, that's a good point. Any thoughts on Q4 before we talk about the year over year, which I've already sort of moved into?
Yeah, just the last half, especially of this year, Ocean's been the big story. You know, they're really kind of putting it together, I think, in a way that I don't know if we would have thought was possible a year ago. I mean, we might have said that, like, yeah, they can improve, but we never would have guessed a 60% increase from last year. I mean, it's really crazy, like, how fast it's turned around.
It's legitimately promising. It's not just like, oh, it's showing some signs. Like, it's actually promising, and that's really exciting to see.
I mean, not only that, it's not just that. It's how they've done it, right? It's, you know, if you start from July, it was a 21% increase year over year, then 22% in August, 38% in September, 40% or 41% in October, 67% in November, and then 75% in December. So it's still growing, it seems like.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point, because I think if you had asked us before Q4 started, like, what we would expect from Ocean, we probably would have said, well, okay, well, they've got a little bit of momentum, but, like, you have to expect that momentum will get curbed significantly, because that's just the nature of the seasonality of Atlantic City. And that hasn't been true for them at all. You know, they've stayed pretty reasonably, you know, month over month, seeing pretty good numbers, you know, even increases month over month, except for, you know, from September to October, which is not surprising because it's going from summer to fall. But November, I think, was better than their October. Their December was better than their November. And so that's a really good sign for them, that they have not seen this big dip going into the winter, and that they've kept this momentum going, and that we're not sort of sitting here saying, oh, well, you know, yes, it's down, but, like, what would it have been down if it was last year? Like, how bad would it have been last year? It's actually really promising. So good on Ocean. I mean, they're legitimately exciting numbers, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think that stands out. And then just, you know, Hard Rock was the second biggest winner year over year, but, you know, 8% is nothing compared to what Ocean did, and like it's actually they're not exploding quite the way that Ocean is.
Yeah, and Ocean, I mean, is doing better than several other properties, which I don't think they were last year at this time, right? You know, I think they were dead last in Q4
Ocean was in last by a big margin last year.
Yeah, by like $8 million, I think, last year, and then this year...
they're middle of the pack right now.
Yeah, so good to see for them. Obviously, Borgata still just crushing everyone. You know, they were almost $100 million better. No, that's not true. They were $90 million better than the next highest property.
Well, you know.
More than double the next highest property in Q4, which is just nuts. Is that right? Am I looking at that? Seems impossible, but
that's right.
Definitely right.
more than double in the whole year too. I mean, that's what they do.
So what about the year? Is there anything else for the full year picture?
If you remove Hard Rock and Ocean, which were open the whole year last year, yes, everybody went down this year.
In 2019,
that's kind of the big story, yeah. I think.
Obviously, that's not great, and certainly other casino executives are going to point at that and say, see, we can't have 2 new casinos. This is killing everybody else. But the resort as a whole was up $175 or a little more $1 million for the entire year. So the pie grew by that much. It's just that it didn't grow enough to increase everybody's revenue. So I don't think it's quite as simple as saying, like, oh, the 2 new casinos were bad for Atlantic City, which I think a lot of people are going to present it that way. But certainly if you are one of the 7 casinos who was here before, you are not happy about the 2 new casinos. Anything else on the year? The only 10% plus decliners, Golden Nugget and Tropicana. Which
is not a surprise. They both had disappointing years. I mean, I think we've talked about them over and over as being the 2 big losers. It seems like Resorts is really having a pretty bad drop off right now too. We'll see if that continues in Q1. I kind of am expecting them to be kind of in that category as well, to be honest.
$2.69 billion, the highest annual revenue since 2013, which was $2.86 billion when there were 12 casinos.
There you go. So that sounds good. So I have a couple of over-unders, basically, or bets, and you can...
Should I be opening the bets spreadsheet to track it?
Yeah, you probably should.
Okay, I've got it. What are they?
So one of these is actually going to be a good wager. The other one is probably going to be pretty questionable. I'm a generous man, so I'll let you choose all these. We'll say $5 on each side. Okay, who's going to be in last place in 2020? Bally's or Resorts? Or the Field, I guess. You could choose the Field if you want to, but you'll be burning your money, I think. And so Resorts had like $300,000 more than Bally's this year.
I think I would go Resorts.
All right.
But I'm not confident.
You have Resorts for making less money than Bally's next year. Put it down.
So wait, you have Bally's?
Yeah, I'll take Bally's. That's fine. Who do you have coming in second place in Atlantic City in 2020 revenue? Hard Rock or the Field?
I think that Hard Rock could make more than Borgata.
That would be the Field, technically.
So were they second this year? No,
they were second. They had made about $12 million more than Harrah's and about $20 million more than Tropicana.
I think you'd have to take Hard Rock here. You'd need some odds to take anybody other than Hard Rock.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think that was too generous to you, but that's fine.
So you'll give me $5 just for no reason, is what you're saying?
Give you a fresh... No, it won't be fresh. It'll be like a very dirty $5 bill.
So I get $5 when Hard Rock comes in second place.
Yes. I think Harrah's could beat them. Tropicana certainly cannot.
Yeah, right. So Tropicana's close, but they're sort of on the decline. Hard Rock's gaining. They're going to catch Borgata. They're going to close the $400 million gap to first place. Increase the revenue by whatever that is, 130% of confidence. All right, is that the bets?
Will there be a month in Q1 or Q2 of 2020 where Ocean beats Tropicana in revenue?
Ocean was...
$215 million. Trop is $302 million.
In the recent months, though...
It's been like $3 million.
Yeah, that's close. I think, yes. I think Ocean will beat Tropicana at some point in the first 6 months. Why? What do you think?
I probably think yes, too. But that's fine. All right, those are 3 bets. So what? Before we go, what is the ledger right now?
What is owed or what is open?
Yes, what is owed?
I owe you a meal at Hard Rock because Hard Rock opened before Ocean by minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I owe you $5 because I got ID'd more than twice during our June 14th to 15th Atlantic City trip.
That did happen.
And then you owe me $5, so that evens out, because we sold more than 20 shirts within 3 months of getting them.
Oh, we should make the ID bet again, because Taylor's going to come next this time, and you and him together are going to be like ID magnets. The only thing that would be better is if my buddy Zach came, too.
Yeah.
It'd be just the trifecta of people who are in their mid to late 30s who look like they're 16.
The group of 5 is, I think, helps you a little. Maybe it hurts you, actually, in a casino. I think in a bar it helps you.
Certainly, being with you means I get ID'd, well, really an infinite amount more times, because I never get ID'd by myself. But
yeah, that's true. 36 years old, and still getting ID'd. At Hard Rock, in the Asian room at the Hard Rock, I mean, it was probably a year ago, so, adjust accordingly. The woman guessed that I was 22 years old. And so that tells you all that you need to know about how I look like a child.
Well, anyway, if you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, you can do so at the Facebook group at facebook.com/group/doforawin. Find all of our wonderful content at doforwin.com. Find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, and definitely not YouTube. Reach out to Craig on Twitter at doforawin or me at Kyle Askin. Send Craig questions to doforawin@gmail.com and come to doforwin.com and buy our shirts, because we have a lot of shirts.
Not that many.
Should I bring the shirts on March 13th? Or should I say I'm going to bring the shirts on March 13th and then not?
Definitely say you're going to. Take orders. Collect payment.
And then just don't bring them.
And then don't bring them. You forgot the collect payment part last time. You did all of those other things we listed. I should probably start editing right now if this is going to go up before February 1st.
Well, you've got your work cut out for you. If this sounds like an even halfway decent podcast, you've done God's work.
I will try.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks for our probably only podcast in February.
And see you all on March 13th.
All right. Because you demand more editing, I will click the Sunday through Thursday link.
Why is this happening to me?
My March looks good.
I don't want to say that you're ruining my life, but you're not ruining my life. You're at least ruining my tomorrow.